Okay, whoa.
I'm the meat chef.
Well, I don't like Facebook because I can't find a job.
Do I smoke meat? You going to betray me?
I am on a good place.
I didn't mean for this to happen.
That's right, I'm married with a family.
Now tell me, does that make any sense to you?
So, Fart Guy, I heard in the news that that they're trying to get rid of natural gas power plants. How do you feel about that, Fart Guy?
No. That's what I think.
Just so you guys know, this is a satire. This is not what the podcast will be.
All his curses are just censored.
I will have a seltzer.
Oh, yeah. I'll have 3 drinks.
Fart Guy.
Fart Guy.
Is there actually a Fart Guy on Comedy Bang Bang?
No.
The funny thing about that,
Thank you.
pretty close.
Fart Guy. I'm about to be burp guy. That's what's gonna
Because
happen.
of the seltzers.
Yeah.
Burp Guy, you can't get more creative.
What the fuck is this? I moved to this couch.
Yeah, that's roast couch. You're open to roast culture there.
I just think Comedy Bang Bang, they'd step it up a notch, you know? It'd be...
Comedy Bang Bang is so funny because, like, when I remember in college, somebody was like, "You got to listen to Comedy Bang Bang," and I turned it on, and it legit was like, "I'm Fart Guy," and I was like, "This sucks."
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Who's it for? It must be for like kids, right?
No.
Comedy Bang Bang? No, I don't know.
It's like not sophisticated.
People like characters.
Yeah. But also, like, I feel like when I started, everyone listened to it.
But isn't the mass appeal of characters is being able to see them? I want to see Fart Guy. You know, I don't want to hear Fart Guy.
Unless your voice is very dynamic.
Yeah. People be having dynamic voices.
I'm not sure if this is the case, but you're rubbing the mic against your beard.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't know.
Don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I meant to shave this morning and I didn't.
No. Okay. Yeah.
I'm in that. You know, you guys.
Does
know
it make a sound? It does, right?
Yeah, probably.
You guys hear that?
Well, they're gonna hear it. You know, at some point.
This is
oh fuck.
Oh no. Oh, there we go.
Sync it
So
up.
this
Oh,
is,
you guys
well,
get to
we're-
see behind the scenes.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're gonna get because the way I have to sync it up is I don't know if they might have missed Fart Guy
No.
unless I can grab it from
shit.
before.
We'll
You
be like,
can.
Yeah, I'll try.
Of course, you find it in the middle.
Well, I just need to find a point where I line them both up. The clap helps because it's a loud noise.
Yeah.
drop
But,
that in.
Yeah.
Drop that in somewhere.
Well, I had to stack both of my tracks on that video, and that was
the one you were editing.
arduous.
Yeah, it sucks. Audio editing is worse than video editing, I think. Audio mixing is hard.
Yeah.
Audio for video.
Well, you got to sync it up, which is
Yeah.
a nightmare.
But also just mixing, like if one part's too loud and then you gotta
yeah.
raise room tone and like, you know, all that sort of stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
Ugh.
I hate it. But
Well, welcome to the Crush Boys Living Room Saturday morning podcast.
the Saturday morning one. We're back.
We're back.
We did a night podcast on last Monday, but we are here. This is the format. We are post Crush. It is happy Saturday, everybody. Here comes Burp Boy.
I'm already burping.
Here comes Burp Boy.
Yeah.
Burp
Man.
Burp man.
Knock, knock, knock.
I burped it too. Knock, knock. Who's that at the door?
Oh, I'm Burp Kreischer.
See, now that's more interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting
See,
writing.
that's how it happens. It's
Yep.
like, this character is Burt Kreischer if you couldn't stop burping.
Yeah, which I think is just Burt Kreischer. You know, taking him down.
Oh man, I would listen to that, and I would say that it was always good with specific people. You know,
Right. Like who? Who was good?
Well, I loved listening to James Adomian.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
then
and Comedy Bang
Harris
Bang.
Whittle ones; those were good.
Yeah.
Well, Harris would just come on and read bad jokes,
Yeah,
and that was like the whole premise, which is funny. It's funny
Yeah.
to read bad jokes.
yeah.
But yeah, this is our Saturday morning podcast, post Crush. We're getting it in before there's a barbecue today, which I'm heading to. But we're gonna do. We were having great conversation. We were like, let's turn these mics on.
We should probably turn the mics on.
Oh man, you're really Uh-oh.
What?
Now it's set up.
Yeah. Now it's got to continue being great conversation.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we
well.
were talking about working out and how a row machine can really douchify household.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Yeah, I think it would be. We'd get. Dude,
shredded.
our backs would be crazy. We'd have crazy backs.
We'd
know, we
look
could do
we'd
shirtless
look
pod.
awesome.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, what I was saying was you can't, like, a row machine is like something you do to interrupt an argument.
Yeah. Oh, like
It's in the middle of the argument, you just go sit on the row machine.
you're too heated. You're like, ah.
got to work out that anger somehow. I know. I'll train for crew. I'll train for my crew team.
I don't know. I think it's because there's always one row machine at the gym, and you look over and it's just one guy taking up the thing you might want to use, and he looks out of place. You know,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of confidence to sit on that row machine.
The problem is with the row machine, you got to be like doing it for, I feel like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
aggressive.
Yeah, and you just look at the intensity on their face, and I don't know. I'm
It's-
not saying you are a douche, but you know, it just looks like you could be.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing. It sounds like if you're on a row machine, there's something else going on.
Yeah,
You could have done curls, but, you know,
Yeah.
your wife didn't let you go out with your friends
Yeah.
last weekend, so now you're on the row machine on
And
Monday.
everyone on a row machine has a furrowed brow. So
Yeah, it doesn't really, I guess it doesn't really work when the person's just running. It's like, no, it's actually low impact.
Did you guys have at school? Did you guys have like a crew team? That's like a
No.
non-existent thing unless you. It's like a private school thing, right? It must be
are you talking about college or high school?
either or.
I went to a college on a beach. So we
So
had
you
a,
had one.
We had a team.
Not in high
but
school though.
Not in high school.
Yeah, me neither.
Every school in Seattle, I think, had a crew team.
Really?
Yeah, because we're right on the water.
Right. There's water around. I was on the water too though. I was on the coast of Connecticut. Connecticut seems like the place where there is
Wait.
crew.
Are you telling me you weren't the captain of your crew team?
No, I wasn't.
50 people went to your school and all of them did every sport.
And also played tuba and marching band. Sousaphone. That was the one.
Oh, Sousa. You had one of those that had like an off name? Is that what you had? You played the Sousaphone?
Well, the sousaphone was the tuba on the go.
Yeah.
Tuba on the go.
Yeah, it's the tuba you wear when you march. The
Well-
tuba is
Oh,
like
yeah.
the tuba.
It's
You
the
sit-
big winding
Yeah.
the thing around.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it'd be
You
like,
wear it.
there's always one instrument that's just a little different. You know, it's like, oh, you play violin? Actually, it's a viola.
Right.
Like, okay.
Right.
Ooh, a sousaphone.
Right.
I don't
yeah.
think I've ever seen a tuba in person. I don't think I've ever.
man.
You've never been
Wait,
in a scenario where a tuba's present?
Where I'm like, what have I done?
Well, I'll say this:
how did I
if
end
you're
up
not in high school band or in concert band, like if you're
Yeah.
not a professional concert like musician,
Uh-huh.
then if you're around a tuba, it's a pretty specific situation.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
something has gone wrong, but something is happening where you're around tubas.
Yeah.
I will say, if I saw a tuba on the subway, it would change my day.
Yeah, it definitely would. It definitely would.
Especially if it was out. You
now,
know?
here's the question: do you guys think tuba
Oh,
players?
man, what if someone was sitting on the street playing the tuba?
That would be funny.
Bo, bo, bo.
I'll tell you what,
Busking with a hat out.
every fat person that walked by that tuba player would get super insecure. I know that. I would get insecure. I'm like, is this guy making fun of me? But do you guys think that tuba players that play tuba professionally in Philharmonics or whatever those bands are,
Yeah.
like, do you think that they take the subway to work, or do you think they get a car to go?
Oh.
Because they don't want to lug the tuba. Or
Those
do you-
things are expensive, right?
Well, the tubas are probably at the theater that they
Yeah.
rehearse in, right? They're probably at the rehearsals, but you probably don't take it to go.
Yeah, maybe not.
But how
Yeah.
do you practice at home then?
Maybe you don't. Maybe you just live.
No, you practice. at
You
home.
got to practice at home.
Maybe you have a home one. Those things get a home
No,
tuba.
I
got a
got
home.
two tubas. I got
Yeah.
my home tuba and I got my work tuba.
Yeah, I think you would. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think you would probably, just get a car.
Yeah. If it's in the case,
Maybe there's
Then,
like a
yeah.
like concert truck that rides around, picks up all the musicians.
that's probably true, honestly.
And
They
all
got the
the-
money to,
So tubas are like in the big orchestras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
If
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
ever seen an orchestra or been to a musical
There's
like with live music, then you must have seen a tuba.
That's the thing. Outside of high school, I don't think I'm rich enough to have seen a tuba. I don't think I'm.
Yeah. Well, tuba is famously associated post high school with high society.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that means you're seeing like an operetta or you're seeing like a what's it called, like a concert
You're
band
not seeing a
performance.
punk show.
You're not
Yeah.
seeing a tuba at a punk
Well, there
show.
was a period where there were probably some tubas on stage with
Yeah.
ska.
In ska.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like there probably still wasn't a tuba. I feel like they're not going to play up to speed.
You
with
know,
the-
they
you can-
tried though.
It's not
Well,
staccato enough.
The
to
problem
go
with the
with
tuba, unless you have a sousaphone, then then that means if you're in a ska band and you're playing the tuba, you have to sit. You can't stand. You can stand
Actually,
with a trombone
I
and a
take
trumpet.
that back. I have seen sousaphone at small concerts because it's usually like pep band people post high school, not knowing what to do with their life. Start some kind of rock band with like eight
Yeah, a bunch of
horns.
horns. Yeah. I mean, some of the music that I listen to I've definitely seen trumpets and trombones on stage. You know, American football has a trumpet on stage.
Yeah.
But
Dude, right
no
now,
tubas,
you know what's
though.
playing in my head right now is
What?
Johnny Quest Thinks We're Selling Out.
Who's that?
That's that ska song by Less Than Jake.
Oh yeah, Less Than Jake. That's the main one, right? That's the main. No,
One of
what's
the
the main?
Streetlight Manifesto.
That's a big one, but
They're
there's
big.
also one we're forgetting.
Real Big Fish.
Real Big Fish.
And then
Oh,
also
yeah.
Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Yeah. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Ba-da-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Yeah, that one.
Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Yeah, that one. That one was like a mainstream hit. That's when ska broke in.
The impression that I get that song.
It was like the
there's
main
Knock
song.
on Wood.
Yeah.
But then there's Sellout by Real Big Fish. But that's what's so funny is like the song that made it mainstream was the Sellout song, and they sold out for that song.
That's very inside ska. That's very inside ska. It's funny that the idea that
But real ska
has-
people would be like, they're not ska.
right. Who are real ska people?
Well, that's
what-
also like third wave ska or something, because there's like
Right.
first wave
Oh
ska.
my god. Oh my god.
the depths of ska. There's a comic
man.
that's super into ska.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian Fidance. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know why
yeah.
I felt weird saying I'm not outing him as a ska guy.
Oh shit, drama.
Well, he does this really funny Instagram bit where he does Stolen Valor, but it's for ska.
Oh yeah.
And it's like kids that are like wearing what ska people would wear or something. He points at him and he goes, "Stolen Valor, you're not ska," because he's like a real ska guy.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Oh man, that's fun. And I mean, in New York, that's the place where you see ska.
There's a
Stolen
famous
Valor.
comedian who was like big into ska. Well, like super pseudo famous. What's that guy with the weird ass hair and he had his own TV show?
Ian Fidance?
No. No, it's like an LA guy. Greg. Man.
Greg Giraldo.
No.
Oh,
no.
Barrett?
Barrett. Yeah,
Yeah,
Barrett.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
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 Because
Big
he
ska
knew. Well, I just was listening to stories about him, but he like
yeah.
knew. No Doubt.
Oh,
like
right.
starting out.
Yeah.
Now that's popular ska.
Well, I was gonna
Well,
say
well.
I'm from like Scotland. I'm from like the place where it's the most popular,
Yeah.
probably, and it's still not that popular. It's like, so-
That's great.
Yeah.
No,
Well, high school.
well, so back to the sousaphone though.
Yeah.
The tuba, is that the one that's kind of rectangular and sits on your front?
Yeah,
It
you
is-
hold it. You
Right,
hold
right,
it.
right.
It's got three things.
But
and
it's like rectangular
it's-
curve.
but- yeah,
right?
and then it goes up, and it has the big
yeah.
opening.
And you're sitting like this or something, right?
No, you sit. It's right here.
Oh, it's
So
right
you
here.
You sit forward. It sits on the. When you sit forward, there's a space on the chair on concert
Yeah,
chairs,
yeah.
and you where that is the big bottom baby part of the
Okay.
tuba sits
Yeah.
right there. You hold it like this, and then the three buttons are right here,
Yeah.
and it comes out the top.
And I love the sousaphone because it wraps around you.
Yes.
You know, you really
Yeah.
have to love it. It's really
it holds you.
Yeah.
You don't play the sousaphone. The sousaphone plays you.
Yeah,
For sure.
You are just an extension of its tube.
Here's a fun story. So marching band in junior year, I was a percussionist, but we had too many percussionists for marching band. I had just picked up tuba in concert band because I wanted to learn a new instrument. And my teacher was like, well, now you can play sousaphone in marching band. And so we do the Memorial Day parade in Old Saybrook. And I remember we had to wear the outfit, we had to wear the top thing, and then we had to wear suit pants. And my suit pants were clipped on the sides, and my sousaphone, as I put it on, it pulled against my pants and split my pants. And so for the whole thing, I was holding up my pants as I was playing sousaphone.
Man.
Marching through downtown, all the moms
Oh
are
my
like,
God.
look at this guy. Meanwhile, I'm like about to flash everybody.
Dude, the amount of people who I think didn't play while marching, because we had to do we'd go out in the fields and do all the formations and stuff.
Yeah.
I think
I never did that. I just did like
oh.
the town
I
march.
think most people did not play.
Well, what are the
I think
instruments?
they just walked.
What are the instruments you're not going to
Pretended.
notice?
That's the thing is like
I think sousaphone, honestly. It's like the bass. Do you guys really hear the bass? Unless you're like listening to Primus, you don't really hear bass.
in high school I was like, there's no way people don't notice. There's no way people notice this. But now I'm like, oh, I would notice. You know?
You
Well,
notice
if
the
all the trumpets aren't playing,
yeah, I
then
think
somebody-
everyone thinks it's like no one's going to
Yeah.
hear me, but then everyone thinks that, and then no one was playing.
Yeah.
I'm sure we sounded awful.
Oh yeah, I could only imagine. You guys ever YouTube like concert, like high school concert bands that people film? And like,
Yeah.
I remember in high school being like, we are crushing it right now. Like we played Planets. We played Mars by Gustav,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
the famous Planets March.
Yeah, yeah.
And he did one for Mars, and we played that. And I remember feeling like I was John Williams playing that song. I thought it was so sick.
Yeah.
It was such a cool song. And Mr. Conti found it, and I was like, this is great. And we all loved it. And I bet you if you were in the audience, it just sounded awful. Like, there's no way it sounded good. Because I've heard the real recording of that song, and I'm like, we did not sound like that.
We played this song called Shenandoah, which is like a super melodramatic, like, I don't know, just picture like a fucking Irish field or something.
Yeah.
That's like the tone of it. And Shenandoah, and it was like it was when we were Cream. We were like killing it in the concert, department, and our music director cried at the end of the performance.
No way.
Yeah, he cried.
From what?
Because it was just a live show. We did like live show. It was like a concert,
Sure.
for the parents and all that.
The winter concert? or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah. And he cried at the end because we like played it so well and it was so beautiful. And then we were doing a thing where we were going into the black box and recording, and it was like so cool because we were recording an album of all our bands,
Yeah. Wow.
And first of all, I was playing timpani on it, right?
Yeah.
And I
You're the big
I forgot
crescendo.
the sheet music. I was late to school that
my
day.
God.
Forgot the sheet music. I'm like running into the black box. Didn't have any sheet music, and I had to just make up the timpani parts.
You didn't even know it.
And I remember we did multiple takes because I fucked up the timpani.
Oh, no.
And eventually we just moved on, and he's like, whatever.
The timpani.
So there's a recording of me playing the timpani awfully.
The timpani is one of those. That's one of the instruments. I played timpani one time. I think sophomore year I played timpani, and it was like a big crescendo moment in the song we were playing. It's like big. The timpani is like, it's like
yeah.
it really brings out. What's that called when you play it louder?
Crescendo?
Well, no, not well. That's like leading into. But there's like a when you
Forte?
Really, yeah, when you really, and it's always
Fortissimo.
it's leading into fortissimo.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I remember being so nervous because
Yeah, yeah.
I was the guy that led it into that big
yeah.
moment.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember Mr. Taylor was conducting this piece. Every time it would be the moment where I'd do the roll.
Yeah.
He'd go.
Yeah, yeah. Come on, bring it.
It's just whiplash.
Trying.
Yeah, bring the energy. He was really nice though, but he would every time he'd get so into it because it'd be like, "Pah," like the horns
Yeah,
would
yeah,
hit,
yeah.
and then he'd be like, "And you," really give me
Give me that shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
man.
the timpani has a lot. I remember getting out of percussion and getting into tuba was less stress because percussion is always it's very known.
Yeah.
If you're playing bass, the big bass drum with the like that,
Yeah.
it's if you fuck up, everybody knows it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tuba, you can kind of just be like, yeah, I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with tuba and stuff, if you really want to be good, you have to start focusing on tone and like just very specific things.
Yeah.
But with percussion, I mean, you can get by not technically being good for a while.
Yeah.
You know what I
Especially
mean?
in high school.
That's what I mean in
Yeah,
high school.
yeah. I would say
I feel like only once you get to a real professional level does all the specifics of how you hit really start to matter.
I remember one of the worst anxieties in high school for me is during concert band rehearsal class, during band class, when the teacher would isolate sections of we're going to practice this part. And he's like, can I just hear the tubas? Can I just hear the trumpets? That section?
Oh, my God.
Like, just the trumpets now? And then he'd be like, just the tubas? It was me and this kid, Ben, and one other guy. and he'd be like, all right, just the tubas, and that would be us. And then he'd be like, and just Ben? And I'd be like, oh, no.
Yeah, he's trying to get
trying
down
to
to
figure
where
out
the
who it
problem
is.
is.
Yeah.
Who's fucking
Yeah.
up?
Right, like who's out of tune, basically.
Right side.
or-
Okay, this area.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
he'd be
yeah.
like, and now just Casey? And I remember, like, trembling with my tuba.
Oh, man.
I mean, my teachers were so nice, but when it's like speaking aloud in class,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
that, but you're playing the tuba,
Yeah.
you know? And I used to get so nervous with that. But
I mean-
we were a good section, so we weren't isolated that much. Dude, the trumpets were always isolated. He was like, let me just hear those trumpets.
I played in band for so long, but like none of it really clicked. Like I didn't get it. I just followed the motions until
Yeah.
like junior year, and then I was like, "Oh, I feel it." You
Right.
know, I get it. I know what it takes to like make it sound right. And at that point, it was too late. One more year left.
You're
at
washed
school.
up.
You know, it's funny,
Yeah.
and like it was like advanced band was juniors and seniors.
Yeah.
Our teacher started doing listening days, which is when you listen to classical music, and he would break it down for us, and that's what would make me realize how it was really. That's a thing where I'm like, I remember. It's funny, you have all these things that you like know a lot about, but you never look back on. But like, it's like a bummer. I'm like, I wish I could start listening to classical again. You know,
I was
like
listening to
well, get into it.
because I started looking up for the sake of a joke. What's it called?
Yeah. La Fortuna or Fortuna.
Oh, Fortuna, yeah.
Yeah.
And then once I looked that up, I was like, man, I should get back into some classical shit, or even just jazz. I used to have to listen to jazz all the time. It's going to become a jazz house, guys.
I will
Count
say,
Basie.
I will say the problem with listening to classical, and this is like a hack premise, but if you came home and especially. This is not a burn, but if you were listening to classical alone in the house, I'd be like, Damien has just killed another mouse.
Yeah, with your bright red light on.
I'm wearing like circle glasses.
And
then,
Where'd you get a scalpel? You're like, I don't know.
Damien, what's up? It's like, nothing.
you're like, I don't want to. Let's not follow up. Because that is like, that's some serial killer. It's just 'cause movies have associated it with that,
Yeah.
There's something so proper about classical music too that's like eerily proper.
Mm-hmm.
And
dude,
I could definitely see you listening to.
Yo, I like some piano. Some solo piano. That's another danger one.
Yeah, solo piano can go one of two ways. It's either you're hyper sad or you just killed a person.
Yeah.
You listen to solo piano?
A little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
Not enough to really know anything.
You don't have like a favorite?
No,
You're
not
like
really.
into Chopin?
No.
Chopin is really great though.
Yeah.
He has that one famous piece. That was one of our listening day songs. And he used to, this is like ridiculous. I would never do this now, but I guess it makes sense. But he told us to listen to that famous piece. I think it's like E minor, whatever. It's like the most famous one. And he had us close our eyes to listen to it. And it ends so delicately, it really falls away. And then the last note hit, and I remember listening to it with my eyes closed in band class, and as that last note hit, I opened my eyes, and I got chills. I got chills.
That's how I felt listening to Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah. Chills from Chopin. Like,
You ever see a person just play piano in person? Just like you're right there. Like you ever do like a music open mic or something? The guy's just like crushing a thing. And and that's where you're like, oh, like, yeah, this guy's they're so talented. Like, I love
something about
music.
playing the piano blows me away.
Yeah.
It's a very impressive. Like, if you can do my go-to, if I think you're amazing, if you can play the Charlie Brown theme song, because that song requires you to do ba-da-da-da-da-da, and then also the top ba-da-da-da-da at the same time. And I'm like, if you can do that, I'll blow you.
Wow. That's a lot.
I love it.
Well,
I love it.
All right, you guys, learn how to play that intro. Casey will blow you. No more lonely piano players. What was I going to say?
I was going to say that Damien has a piano.
Yeah.
And that
I never see you tickling
I was
it.
going to say, you never tickle those ivories, bro.
I don't practice as much as I want to, but I would. I know how to do very basic stuff, but I still actually have to like sit down and learn all the.
Do you have the syncopation down, like the like what he was talking about? where you can kind of do independent left, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Not like I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Couldn't do Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that one's
couldn't-
tough.
I couldn't get blown. But
Maybe that was the wrong expression. I'm just trying to say it's very impressive.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Well, you said it now, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
either
yeah.
an
I've been
honest
saying-
man or
I've been saying blow a lot recently because I just rewatched The Departed, and there's a
Oh.
great moment where Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio are on the roof, and that's when Leonardo DiCaprio is confronting him, and he is an undercover cop, and so Matt Damon goes, "What is this? A citizen's arrest? Blow me!" And just the way he hits it. So I've been saying that like nonstop since last week because it's just like the most Boston way to say
when
it.
were you
What is-
watching The Departed?
Like 4 nights ago.
Fuck.
Just in my room.
We watched it like 3 months ago.
I
You
love
go
it.
back to it.
Well, that's one of those movies where if I see it on Netflix, I'm like, I'll just watch a few scenes.
You are a true Massachusetts boy.
yeah.
From
I watched The
Massachusetts.
Departed.
Close enough.
The Town is on the queue after.
Yeah.
Oh man, the town stinks. That's one
Oh,
where I'm
fuck.
like, I don't like it. Although what's her name is so great as such a Boston trash woman.
Oh, Blake Lively.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
plays
yeah.
it really
Oh,
well.
We have to watch My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, we do need to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Casey saw Spider-Man and fell in love with Melissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei.
Melissa. Melissa.
Oh, Melissa, right?
No, it's Marissa.
Marissa?
Yeah,
Marissa
yeah,
Tomei.
Yeah, yeah.
I've always been in love with her, though. I've been in love with her forever. Like, anything she's in, I'm like, that's the most beautiful woman
Yeah.
on earth to me. She's cute as a button. That's how I describe her. You know?
Isn't
You
she
know-
like in an episode of Seinfeld or something?
Yeah,
like
because
early
George
on?
is obsessed with Marissa Tomei.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, Marissa Tomei says that she likes short, stocky, funny, bald men. And George wants to leave his fiance and to go on a... Because Elaine knows someone that knows Marissa Tomei.
Oh.
And she's featured it in like in a dream sequence.
Yeah,
that
I
go
could
on.
see her liking short, stocky, bald men. You know, she's so sweet.
Well,
John Favreau.
She's got a thing
Yeah.
for John Favreau. in Far From Home.
He looks tall, though, right?
Yeah, he's probably pretty tall.
Yeah.
You think he's tall?
He's like, I don't know. He
He's
could
taller
be.
than-
He's one of those people that could be tall.
He's
right?
like taller than Tom Holland, but who knows how tall he is.
I think he's short.
yeah,
that's true.
Right?
He's a short little spider.
How do you
Because-
guys feel about a non-American Spider-Man?
I think he's great at it.
We've had two.
Who's the other one?
Andrew Garfield's also
Oh,
not.
he stunk though.
Where's he from?
Fucking same place. UK?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a UK boy.
Yeah, I think he's English.
You know who he reminds me of is that dude from like Road Trip, the skinny dude. You know what I'm talking about?
Wait,
DJ
the guy-
Qual.
There
The guy
was
from the new guy?
yeah, yeah.
That's DJ Qualls.
That
right?
reminds you of Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, they make me think of the same
Oh
person.
my god. You think all
He's
the
the
skinny
same
boys
nose,
look the same?
I was just gonna say. So we were talking about height. So a coworker of mine yesterday just opened me up to. There's like a couple years ago. So I'm a big Gyllenhaal guy. I love him, and he's in the new Spider-Man. And there's a big debate about how tall Jake Gyllenhaal is on the internet. I don't know. Some podcast did a deep dive into how tall he is because no
Yeah.
one knows how tall Jake Gyllenhaal
You
is.
can't
look it
ask.
up.
Wait. Hey Google, how tall is Jake Gyllenhaal? She's thinking.
Well, it's a mystery.
Oh.
Yeah, but so
Oh, I unplugged her.
there's a Conan episode where they're talking about that, and then Jake Gyllenhaal comes out and they measure how tall he is 'cause it's like this big internet conspiracy that he's. And so Jake Gyllenhaal is taller than Tom Holland in that movie, and on the Conan thing, Jake Gyllenhaal apparently is 5'11". So I guess
Oh wow.
That's the classic mysterious height. 5'11's the one that captivates people.
is it?
Yeah, because they're like, "Oh, you're like tall, but
Are you
tall? Are you tall?"
Well, I will say 6 feet is the standard. If you're 6 feet, you're tall.
Yeah.
Well, I know that on dating apps that they always put 6 feet,
yeah.
right? No one's like
Dudes.
5'11" or taller.
Yeah, because why?
Yeah.
You know? Oh, I thought you said. Oh, women say 6
foot
feet
or above.
or
Well,
above.
the ones who care.
Right.
So if
You
you're
know.
5'11, you're like, shit.
Yeah, if you're 5'11", that means you're not God
Yeah.
or my father or my boss. That's
Well, I was going to say, I think it's mysterious because it's usually coming from the perspective of women who are usually shorter than 5'11". So they're looking up and they're going, "Are you tall enough? Like,
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
it's like kind of like,
I
is
think-
that the good height?"
I think numbers don't matter. I think you may as well say 6 if you feel 6.
Well, then you're gonna start getting some 5'5" guys that are like, yeah, but I got the fucking dick of a 6 foot guy. You're gonna get some weird.
Some
not
days
God.
I feel 5'2", some days I
or
feel.
my father, or my boss.
Yeah, that's Well, we were just watching a Jake Gyllenhaal movie, and we were talking about because for actors are kind of usually shorter. And you were saying, Dwayne, that it's because the framing. You don't want to frame
Oh yeah,
some
I mean,
tall
if you
guy.
were trying to frame a shot and you've got like this tiny girl, and then I thought of that when I was watching Stranger Things because that girl, it must be tiny. The one who's working as a journalist, whatever her name is.
Oh, the high schooler. Yeah.
And it's like, can you imagine just like putting a 6 foot guy next to her?
Yeah.
And then you're like, all right, well, we got to get them both in the frame.
Yeah. But
Framing is
taller
tough.
They're taller
That is.
than the kids, though.
Yeah.
So-
They're kids.
Yeah. So but like if she was 5'1", or like
I'm
5'2".
saying the guy that she's always with.
Oh,
is
he's
like
short.
an inch taller than her.
Yeah.
Well, you can see that, and that was even. But now it's interesting because we were just watching Enemy 2 nights ago,
Yeah.
and the woman that has like that the girlfriend character in it, one of them is like at his height. So that must be if Jake Gyllenhaal is truly 5'11", that's a tall woman. Or they just framed it in a way that it looks like they're both at eye level with each other.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, what'd you think of Enemy?
I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
The women are spiders.
Yeah.
That is
That's the big. That movie.
big metaphor.
I was just.
The spiders aren't bad.
No, they're actually the ones that are afraid of Jake.
Yeah.
The spiders are afraid of us. That's one of those. They're more afraid of us than we are of them type situations. Which someone just said that about snakes, and I don't know if that's.
People say
The
that about
snakes.
any animal.
I know. Or bees. People always say
No
that
one
about
knows
bees.
if they're afraid.
I know.
Oh, he's more
That's-
afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. Like, all right, I won't bite you then.
A bee gets accidentally too close to your face. He's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. No.
I think bees are they don't care. They're
I'm
like
in the same boat.
for the hive. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they sting you. They're and
then they die.
knowing they die.
Yeah.
Wasps are the ones that are like, they're not scared because they'll sting you and they'll be like, I can do this again.
Yeah, and
I
again,
am alive.
Yeah.
Dude, I honestly like
bees.
killer bees. They're like traveling up, and the killer bees horrify me. Like they don't stop. They do not stop.
They kill you.
They kill you. And there's that. Do you guys ever watch My Girl?
Oh yeah.
Macaulay Culkin
Yeah.
dies from bee stings.
Yeah, that's right.
Horrified me.
Yeah.
Scarier than anything else I had ever seen on film.
That
Because I
movie's-
was always playing out in bushes and always around bees.
Can I say? I don't know. I was also horrified of bees
Oh.
as a kid. I didn't see My Girl as a kid. I saw it like a week ago. I don't know. I mean, but I was definitely. A friend and I used to do. Now, I mean, they're all dead, and it's like well, maybe I was a part of this. But friend and I, a game that we used to do was to like. If there was a beehive, remember beehives, like big ones? We'd be so scared of them. And a game we would do is we'd throw rocks at them,
Oh,
try and
man.
knock it
Oh,
down,
no.
and then run away.
So mean.
I know it's fucked up. But bees, it's one of those things where, like, they, as a kid, to me, they represented evil. They were evil.
Yeah.
You know, it was okay to kill bees.
Yeah. Well, for me,
Just in the same way that people fucking kill spiders all the time. They freak out. They they kill them.
oh man, even as a kid, I never cared about spiders. I don't mind spiders. It was. I hated bees though.
Yeah,
Like
I hated
we'd
bees,
go
too.
on picnics and there'd be bees around. I'm like, why is this fun for anyone? Who is okay with this? They're like, oh, just swat it away. I'm like, no, that's literally
That's how you
why
get
they
hit.
attack.
Yeah.
I saw Candyman pretty young, and he was made of bees.
He's made of bees.
His
my
insides
God.
are bees.
The man is bees.
I am bees.
Well, he would do this thing where he'd open his mouth and bees would fly out. so he was
yeah.
bees.
Don't like that.
No soul in there, just bees.
Oh man.
So that was a big fear I had, was that someone would be bees.
Wasn't that the Green Mile? Wasn't he full of bugs?
What?
Was Candyman one of the prisoners?
No, in the Green Mile he'd take their pain away or something and then like let it out through his mouth.
Oh.
Did you guys not see the Green Mile?
No,
I
but
never
you
saw it.
just watched it.
Another
like, in
Stephen
the
King
winter.
film.
Yeah, you
know,
watched
fantastic.
it in the winter. Well, that was that great.
Because that movie it won like an award, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it best movie?
I don't know if it was best movie, but I think people got some. I think the guy won Best Award. The
Okay.
actor who played.
But
JC.
like you watch it and you're like, this is one of those weird Stephen King movies, and it's like it feels made for TV. And it's like, how did this get any awards?
Have you seen it, Damien?
I've never seen it.
Maybe we shouldn't spoil it.
No, it's okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think I'll ever watch it.
There's a great. This reminds me. There's a great Stephen King story where someone apparently was like, "You write all this filth, this horror filth nonsense. You should write something good and heartfelt like The Shawshank Redemption." And Stephen King goes, "I did write that movie." What a great moment. I don't know if that story is real, but if that is, that's a great moment. And that's like his other Green Mile is like his other heartfelt movie.
All of his like supernatural books, I'm sure they're fine, but when they turn into movies, I'm not into them. I mean, The Shining was like fine, but like that, he didn't even appreciate the
he didn't
film.
like it.
Yeah. So then like what else? He did Stand By Me, right?
Yeah.
And then he did Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
And then what else?
Green Mile.
Green Mile. Yeah, but
Carrie.
Green Mile's supernatural.
Oh yeah, Carrie, supernatural.
Cujo.
Definitely. Cujo. Well, it's about a killer dog.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I guess that's supernatural, right? I guess I don't know.
Was it Christine, the car?
Was
Oh,
it car?
yeah, Killer
car
Car.
that's killing people?
Oh
Yeah,
man,
Killer Car.
jeez.
He did this movie called. Did you guys see The Mist?
No.
Oh man, The Mist is one where I think it's so your joke about him that I
Yeah.
think you'd even like it because it's like insane.
Yeah.
It's like the classic. There are monsters outside a grocery store when mist rolls into town. That's the premise, right?
Yeah.
And then in the grocery store, there's a crazy religious woman.
Yeah.
Then there's military that covered up secrets.
Then there's some guy
like,
who's got an overbearing mom who
Yes.
caught him masturbating.
yes, and it's like everything, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, "What is this movie?" And in the movie they do all of it. And
Oh,
it's like
wow.
3 hours
It's like a
long.
pure
my
Stephen
God.
King.
Yeah, it's a real adaptation of what I
He
imagine.
really
his books
loves
are like.
including everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's it too. Apparently, the book It has tons of other stuff going on besides
yeah.
just that there's a clown that feeds off your fears. Apparently, there's like a ton of other stuff. But I liked it. I
did like it.
and I'm going to see the next one.
Yeah.
You like it?
Sorta. I thought it was kind of repetitive.
It was a little repetitive.
Every scene is the exact same. Where like they're like the kids like walking somewhere alone for some reason.
Yeah.
And they're like, your kids are dying. They're like, that's fine. And then he's like alone in the place of his greatest fear.
Yeah.
And then like
Yeah.
then something like a book is like shaking. He's like, what's this? And then Pennywise shows up and freaks him out.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, and then he almost gets him, and then they run away. And that happens 10 times.
Yeah, it does happen.
That's
a
the
lot.
thing. It happens as many kids as there are.
Yeah, it just like keeps
It's
happening.
like there are 8 kids.
And then like some will get like double. They're like, oh, this again. And Pennywise is like, ooh, and they're like see you next time.
I remember the one. I remember the one that made me laugh was the kid that's a hypochondriac whose mom like doesn't let him go out and stuff. And then he sees like a sick guy. That's how they show it. There's like a guy that's like, I'm sick. And then it's Pennywise. He's like, but you're sick. Oh, no. Yeah. That was fun. That's I remember the one with the blood in the bathroom is scary.
With what's her face?
Where the blood shoots up.
Yeah.
That one's always scary. Because in the original, I remember that freaking me out.
Yeah.
The original, by the way, that's the made for TV. Oh, oof. That's the worst movie. Me and Jordan Raybould, shout out to Jordan Raybould, watched it the year that it came out, the movie. We rewatched the ABC one that was the
Do
original.
you think it was good though at the time?
No, there's no way.
But Tim Curry is so cool. Does he do a good job?
Well, this is my hot take. I think he stinks at it, and everybody's like, he's good.
What?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
but
he's,
I've
like,
only
the best.
seen the clips where he's like talking to him from the sewer,
Yeah, and he's
and
like-
like a few times where he jumps up,
Yeah.
and it's not. I get that it's not scary, but it is like scary, comical, kind of insane. Which is Tim
Yeah.
Curry.
Yeah. Maybe it's supposed to be funny, or it's supposed to play for humor. Maybe it was made like that. Did you see it?
Yeah.
The TV series? Yeah, I saw it as a kid, and I remember being really freaked out.
I could imagine
But-
me watching it as a kid and getting scared.
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
definitely see that happening.
Yeah, but I thought Tim Curry was good, but I don't know. I don't know if it'd scare me now. I don't know if the story in general would like. I didn't really watch like the new It, and I wasn't really like freaked out
Yeah.
too much. I don't know, something about it.
I thought it was more like fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was it wasn't necessarily spooked, but I did find it fun.
Yeah,
Well, any movie, I like movies where there's a ragtag group that comes together. I like that.
The kids are fun. The kids are like a good
Yeah. That's why Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, it has that. It has a ragtag group of kids. I'm like, this is going to be fun.
Well, that's why the first season of Stranger Things was so good.
Yeah.
I felt like.
Ragtag group.
Yeah.
There's something fun about, well, that's, what are they called in it?
Now they all seem so cool.
The Losers?
The Losers Club, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's called.
Also Goonies.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Sandlot, another perfect example.
All these kids.
Sandlot. I just saw Sandlot.
I remember.
Yeah.
You did not like it.
No, it's not that I didn't. I'm watching it with like an adult perspective, and I'm like, what's with the off-screen voiceover? What's with the
the older kid?
Yeah.
I remember that movie got like Me Too'd this year.
Why?
Because of the scene. Not Me Too'd, but like it was looked at with, 2019 goggles because there's a scene where the kid pretends to drown the kid to kiss the girl. And everybody's like, yeah. And then there was an article that was like, no.
No.
You don't do that.
Wow.
You don't trick
That's
women.
That's a deep dive for trying to come up with something to,
Hey, men, stop drowning women to make out with them.
No. The guy pretends to drown so that he can get resuscitated by the lifeguard.
Yeah.
Oh, that is problematic.
Yeah.
David's like,
But he's like a boy. He's a boy.
And she's like
she's like a
16-year-old or something. He's like a
Well, she's like,
12-year-old.
she's definitely,
Yeah.
she was like a grown-up, wasn't she?
No, I think she was like supposed to be in high school.
Oh,
They're like
she was?
they're like
Okay.
middle school kids, and she's like a high schooler lifeguard
Yeah.
girl. And
Okay.
she does mouth to mouth, and then he sticks his
Yeah.
tongue in her mouth. It's like
Yeah.
Oh, he sticks his tongue in?
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
The boy.
And on
That is problematic. The sticking
then-
the tongue added.
Yeah. And then all the boys, the problem is like all the boys in the movie, they're like, he was a legend. And you're like, whoop. I don't know about this.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah, I wonder how. Yeah, you can't show that movie to your kids, I guess. Can't.
Yeah.
Oh, there's probably a lot of movies that we all saw as kids that we love. I bet you Goonies is filled with like,
Yeah.
certain stuff that's not appropriate.
I don't know.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
I've seen it a bunch of times. I mean, it's unless you. No, I don't think so. I don't remember.
It's like pure.
Yeah.
It's pure. There's no gay jokes. Gay jokes were everywhere.
Yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
a bunch of boys making fun. Like,
I mean, that's still,
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't see that. You don't think little kids are
still making gay jokes. But that's the problem. That's what's problematic is that it's
Yeah.
continuing a behavior that's not appropriate.
Yeah.
This
But how
is
do you-
NPR.
Yeah, that's like one of those universal bits where it doesn't matter what school you went to, every boy was calling everyone gay.
Sure.
It was like something we learned from TV, society. I don't know.
Yeah, it was. It must have been mid-2000 movies. It's wild. You watch any comedy, a comedy from the mid-2000s, bro. It's like,
Well, you would say
What?
that,
It's
and I
like-
was be like, yeah, it's not that bad. And then it infiltrated Spider-Man.
yeah. What's the? Oh, where'd your boyfriend get that for you?
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh no.
Oh yeah, Peter Parker says it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the good guy.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
the thing
it's
is like,
tough.
like if I saw a bunch of kids doing it in a movie, I'd be like, whatever.
Yeah.
But when the gay jokes enter into adults,
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm
then it's like-
referencing. I'm
yeah.
referencing like you watch any like comedy where like something like what was that one from that like Ryan Reynolds is in where he's fat and he used to be fat and then he's what was that? It was like Just Friends or
Yeah.
something. I rewatched that because it was on Netflix like last winter and it's like all gay jokes.
Yeah.
And you're like, and that was like 2009, I feel like, or 2008 or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, whew. It's tough.
it's like they sensed it was going to end.
They had to
They
get it all
just-
in. They had to get it all in before it ended, yeah.
I just rewatched No Strings Attached.
Oh, how's that hold up?
Sort of okay on the romance side,
Mm-hmm.
and like friends with benefits conversation still relevant today. But there is like one scene where there's like this one douche character who's like trying to hook up with all the girls, and at the end he's like, "Oh well, I guess I'll hook up with the gay guy," and you're like, and everyone's like, "This is like this weird after credit scene." You're like, "What?"
He was gay the whole time?
Well, no, he just like strikes out with all the women, and then he's like, "Well, maybe I'll
Oh.
I'll try with men.
Oh, pretty woke for its time, maybe.
Is that the one?
Yeah, he was bisexual. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, maybe.
He was a bisexual guy.
Well, but there was zero representation for a long time. You know, like what was that
It was
TV
just-
show I was talking about with the redhead guy?
Michael Rappaport.
Yeah, I forget
don't
what
know
it's
the name of
called.
it.
Yeah, but like he's got a son who's got a friend who's gay, and then there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
weird interaction because like he's like, well, he's obviously gay, and then it's what's his face?
Rami Malek.
Yeah, Rami Malek.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's like, how would I know if I'm gay? And then he like discovers that he
Yeah.
is. And I remember being like, it was weird, but like this is the first time I've seen a gay person on TV, you know?
It was a very special episode.
Yeah,
Back
that's
in the
like.
day.
But
it's
it was
Yeah,
also
yeah.
like, you know, it wasn't like necessarily treating it fair. But it was still kind of like, whoa, this is the first time I've seen it, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's
like, didn't like teen shows always have like a gay episode? Like, I know that sounds bad, but like, I feel like Gilmore Girls had episodes where they're like, this person's gay,
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Veronica Mars, there was an episode where she solves the case of like, there's like a
of who's gay.
she solves the case of who's gay.
Even
And
us laughing at it.
Honestly, kinda. There's like there's an anonymous gay community like online, and she has to like find out, and like they're getting bullied, but she has to like
Yeah.
find out who they are.
Yeah.
So you like find out who all the gay characters are,
Yeah.
and but it was like a very special episode vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I feel like Gilmore Girls definitely had like I think Gilmore Girls was maybe a little woke because they just had at the time they just had gay characters and they just
Yeah.
were you know,
But
but
didn't have to treat it.
That's the way to do it.
It was
Yeah.
just like this person's like, oh, I'm going out with my girlfriend. I think she has like a lesbian friend or something. Did I make that up?
You're the one who's been watching it.
Well, I stopped. I was rewatching season 1, but I put it on pause for now.
I can't remember who her college friends are.
Yeah, I think there was at the time. I remember when I rewatched it a couple years ago. that there
Well, I
was.
guess what I meant is like in that like dad focused sitcom,
Yeah.
I hadn't seen a gay character.
Yeah. There was no Home Improvement episode where Randy's like, I'm gay.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Tim has to be like, what's gay? You know, like there's.
Tim Allen. Tim Allen would have walked off set.
Randy's like, I'm gay. And he's like, I got to get more power.
Oh man, I would have loved if one of the three boys was gay.
Yeah, that would have been
Would've
an
been-
interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
But
It
Tim
would've-
Allen probably put a stop to that.
Well, I
like, I don't
forget
like this.
exactly what happened, but with Grace Under Fire, like after she came out, was the show ending at all? I remember being a huge deal when she came out.
Oh, that reminds me. It's similar. Ellen had a TV show, and she had a coming out episode.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Grace Under Fire.
Is that what that show's called?
Yeah.
Ellen's show?
Ellen DeGeneres was on a show. She was like a side character,
Oh, but
and it
she
was called
also
Grace
had,
Under Fire.
but she also had her own show.
She has her
Ellen
own
had-
show now.
No, Ellen had a sitcom that was called Ellen.
Did she?
Yes, and she has a coming out episode on it, and it was a huge deal, like a monumental deal.
She had a sitcom called Ellen?
I think so.
I think it was Grace Under Fire.
It might have been, folks.
I don't even actually
Right
know. I was a child.
But I remember I took a queer film and media studies class, and
Oh.
that was an episode we studied. We studied that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Should
in
I
the
look it
90s.
up?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Is it
I
worth
mean,
it?
Me and Damien can keep talking. We don't need to have dead air, but
Yeah.
I think she had her own show.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
That would have been like early 2000s,
No, like late 90s.
late 90s.
Yeah, because she had like just blown up from stand up, which I think was like 90s.
Is it Grace
Yeah.
Under? Is Grace Under Fire something completely different?
You're looking up a Tim Allen show. Grace Under Fire.
It sounds not like a sitcom.
Grace Under Fire.
It sounds
Yeah.
like a movie.
It sounds like a movie
Yeah.
that Nicolas Cage would be.
Yeah.
Like, this Grace is under fire. I need to get the fire up on it.
It's a
Wait.
Will and Grace spinoff where she's
Yeah.
a.
Oh wait! What is
A
this?
fiery gay
How,
friend.
how did I just make this up?
Whoa.
She's not even in this cast.
Who is the show?
What is the show?
Grace
what is-
Under Fire is an American sitcom that aired on ABC.
So it is a sitcom. So that's
And
good.
who's in
Yeah.
it?
Cast.
There's no one we know.
I'm telling you, I think it's Ellen the Program.
Fuck. Why did I think? It must have just been two consecutive shows on the same time.
Well, it's fine.
I don't know if I should. How far I should dig into this during the podcast.
Yeah,
So
we could probably
What we're gonna need
post
is
on the page.
an official retraction from Dwayne Cole.
Yeah. Well, this is pretty typical of me, though.
Oh yeah,
I think it's
the names.
I do think it is Ellen, the TV show. I'm gonna stick my neck.
Yeah,
out
she had
and
her own
say-
TV
Yeah.
show, right?
The Ellen Show.
Is that right?
Yeah,
And
and
she did.
She came out on it.
Yeah.
Then why did
There's
maybe
a
she
coming out
showed up
episode.
on Grace?
That was a
Under
huge
Fire?
deal. She was like on the cover of People.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that. I remember
Yeah.
seeing that magazine.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what made her. I feel like she was one of the first like advocates for, like, what's it called, representation for a different type
Yeah.
of, person that's not a straight white Tim Allen guy.
yeah.
At the time,
Mm-hmm.
because she had her own show. Rosie O'Donnell was also gay, right?
Yeah.
And didn't she come out on her show or something?
Did
She
she?
had the Rosie show.
Oh, Grace Under Fire.
Oh,
This
here
is
we go.
saying Molly Ringwald, Ellen DeGeneres, Jenna Elfman, Drew Carey, Brett Butler,
Shouts
Laura
out
Graham.
to Drew Carey. Lost
So
all
Ellen
the way.
was on it.
Yeah.
Maybe they did a coming out episode for that too.
Oh, the girl from Gilmore Girls.
Oh yeah,
Which girl?
the mom, Lorelai.
Oh wait, no, that's something else. Townies. No, I don't know. All right, sorry guys. All right.
Interesting.
I guess she did have her own show.
Yeah, she definitely did. And I think she definitely came out as a
Mhm.
gay woman.
Gay woman.
Yeah. But this is the hard part about rewatching older TV now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where it's like that stuff is pretty rampant. And I
Yep.
feel like I don't think woke society is like a brand new thing, but it's like I feel like in recent years, I feel like there's been a strong effort to make sure a lot of that stuff is not in TV and movies. So now when you see something that's even from 5 years ago, you're like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't believe they said that.
Yeah, well, it's like you watch. There's Brooklyn Nine-Nine now has like basically representation for every
Yeah.
person, which is great, and it's
Yeah.
still a funny show that just has
Yeah.
all the representation. Home Improvement, and Tim's like, I'm not gay, and you're like, this is a whole episode arc.
The audience claps for 3 minutes. the audience is like, woo.
yeah.
We're
Well-
here to discuss men's stuff.
Well, you know what show I was just watching clips of that had a lot of very special episode moments was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I just watched a
yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air special episode moments, and it had a ton. It was one that dealt with gun violence. There was one that dealt with drug use when Carlton takes the pills that are in Will's locker, and then there's the one about having an absent father.
Yeah.
The-
Why doesn't he love me?
Yeah, no, he says, why doesn't he want me, man?
Why doesn't he want me?
Yeah. That was tough.
Yeah, they don't really do those anymore, right?
Not with sitcoms, I feel like. I don't
Yeah.
really watch sitcoms, but
Yeah, they don't just all right, and now here's going to be just a serious episode.
that always starts
Yeah.
out fun, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what is another one that did a lot of special episodes was Boy Meets World.
Oh.
They had so many special episodes.
Yeah.
They always started out fun, and then Sean Hunter was like, I'm complicated, and then they had to deal with it.
Not to. I mean, I know it's a kid show, but I tried watching it and I couldn't because they don't even. None of the plot lines even add up.
Yeah.
It's just. But I mean,
Truly
it's
for
just
children.
Yeah. Sitcom.
When did you try to watch it?
When it wasn't it on Netflix? It was a big
Oh,
deal.
Oh,
when
it was
they
on
did,
Hulu. It was on
It's
Hulu.
on Hulu?
It's on Hulu.
Well, they
now.
did a reboot, right? That was probably
Yeah.
Girl Meets Earth.
Girl Meets Earth.
Whatever it was called.
Yeah, I guess they just sort of assume. I guess that's where they do it now. They do it the show will from the beginning be
Dialed in.
dialed in, as opposed to just an episode where now let's address Michael's abuse of Oscar in
Right.
The Office or something.
Right.
They're kind of
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right, it's just whatever.
Well, yeah, that was oh man, I had two back-to-back Office moments where, not The Office, but at my day job, I had two moments where somebody quoted 30 Rock, and I had to be like, I don't watch 30 Rock. And then someone quoted, they're like, something about a character from The Office, and I was like, I've only seen about 7 episodes. And the same person was like, what? What is happening? She didn't believe I did comedy. She was like, you can't do comedy without knowing these shows.
The Office is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You watch it all the time.
I just watched the whole thing for the first time since it was on the air.
Yeah.
And I never finished the last season, and I could this time because I think it was better with the binge kind of.
Yeah.
What'd you think? It's not that bad.
I actually liked the last season.
Yeah. I thought I stopped watching after season 2 because I was like, there's no way this is going to continue being good.
Mm-hmm.
And it does. And even once Michael Scott leaves, it's still good.
Yeah, it's actually when James Spader comes in as like the new CEO, Robert California.
Oh, so funny.
And he's like this like sexed up like 50-year-old divorcee. And he's just hilarious. Every line he says is hilarious. And yeah, so it's good for a while. I think it was just at the time like Steve Carell's leaving, and then just the way like TV was back then, where you got like you watched a TV show for an entire year.
Yeah.
It was on 26 episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
from. It would be from fall to what is
Yeah.
it called? Sweeps. Fall to sweeps.
So like, what was guaranteed? It's like it's just guaranteed. Like I'm gonna fall off for an episode or two because for two of the, there might be 2 weeks where I'm like, yeah, I just couldn't watch The Office this week, and then I'm behind, and then I don't watch it, and then I don't finish the entire show.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy that people used to get. I guess people still did it for Game of Thrones this year, but people like get together, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I need to watch my shows.
Yeah.
It's wild to me. I
Well,
never did that.
Well, back when TV was restricted and you had to be home to watch it and stuff,
Yeah.
there were a lot less people doing stand-up.
It's a lot less people doing a lot of less stuff.
Yeah.
There's but Game of Thrones is the only one recently that I noticed that especially with you two Dragon Lords, you two it had to be like, we are watching this. Like we have to watch it as it airs.
Yeah,
Because also spoiler culture, I guess, is a thing now.
it's wild.
yeah.
Memes show up
Immediately.
like as the episode is going on.
Right. That's why. Well, I will say the equivalent for me is that like back in high school, I would be able to not watch a basketball game, like a big game, and be able to watch it later. They would rerun it at night, and because Twitter wasn't like a thing back then, I wouldn't know who won unless I went on Google and looked it up. But now on people I follow on Twitter during the NBA playoffs, there's a meme of Kawhi Leonard doing his laugh, being like, "When you win the championship," and you're like, "Well, I know they won,"
Well, even like people write articles now immediately after. There was my current kick was Veronica Mars. They just like did a reboot season or something, and I didn't Google it till after I finished, thank God. But like one of the first things you Google when you Google Veronica Mars was like, was killing off, and then it says blank worth it, and then the picture is the person who got killed off.
Yeah.
And you're like, well. Like, I think I can piece this together.
Dude, the weekend after Stranger Things, and this is just because it's the last thing I watched with like spoilers. Just the weekend after it was released, it was immediately popping up in my feed. Is what's his face dead?
Yeah. Conspiracy theories about here's our deep dive on the biggest spoiler of the show.
Yeah.
And you're like, nice.
You're like,
That's good to know.
that's good.
But that's what's funny too, though, is because like if a season finale ended,
Yeah.
it would make sense to then next day have articles about it, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, here's the entire season.
Yes.
Next day,
Right.
spoilers.
Yeah, of
yeah.
course. That's like with
What have
that's
we
the-
wrought?
well, that's the problem that's always been with movies, because the movies it's one big spoiler. So like any reviews of a movie that like really dive into it, like it's funny, you type in Enemy, that's an old movie, but the first thing that pops up when you type in Enemy, the first thing is like, and here's what the ending means.
Yeah.
You know, the giant spider, we get into it, and you're
Yeah.
like, man, I didn't know there was a giant spider. You know,
what's it called where you do like an alert about sensitivity or whatever?
spoiler alert.
No, not spoiler alert.
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. If you don't like bugs, don't watch Enemy.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
is
yeah.
one where you're like, you watch the trailer and you're like, this seems like a weird thriller about doppelgangers, and then there's like a whole thing that if you
Yeah.
get scared of, if you
Spiders.
get spiders, do not watch it. That's a bold move, by the way. I was thinking about this because you just watched it, and I was thinking about, because that movie. These are spoilers, but it's a very old film. We'll put in the episode description that we discuss it. But
Yeah.
there's imagery. There's like metaphoric imagery of giant spiders to represent for, the surrealism of the movie. And I think he could have picked. I know there's like mythological lore with women spiders and stuff.
Yeah.
But like that's a bold choice to be like, I'm going to put terrifying, the most scary thing as my main metaphorical image. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Well, I
like
think-
that's a big swing.
Yeah, well, I think a big part of it was that his character. It's like, well, the whole thing is like commentary on relationships
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's like
How you feel?
he felt trapped in a web.
Yes.
Like that's what him being in a relationship felt like.
That's what I meant. There's like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
mythological side of spiders too, because female spiders entrap their male
Yeah,
counterparts
yeah.
and kill them and eat them. So like
Right.
that was like the whole lore of it. But I'm just saying that's like a
But
big.
you know what?
he could have not done that. Is what I'm saying.
The male spider
yeah.
loves it.
Oh really?
Because
Yeah,
I
you
looked it
read
up
about
the
it?
next
Yeah,
day,
yeah, you read
and
about
it's
it?
like there's an article where it's like dopey male spiders breed more. So it's like if they're like,
Dopey.
yeah, eat me, you know, if they're like,
Sure,
if they're
yeah.
like, you know, if
They
they're
just
not
wanna get-
aware enough to avoid being eaten, they're more likely to procreate. So it is,
It's dumb
like
spiders.
biologically beneficial to not to be like naive.
Yeah.
Interesting. But I do know that like female spiders are the dominant, like they are, you
Yeah.
know, in that species, and so that's why the director did that. But it is like, because the ending, like I remember the first time I saw it, it like made me scared.
Oh.
Because when he walks into the room, it's like you're like, oh,
Dude, turning corners like that always freaks me out in film. Same with like Mulholland Drive, where there's that like devil,
yeah.
and they just
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
a
they
corner,
turn, yeah.
and oh,
Well, you always know in horror films, I think if they're done right, they do this well. But if it's a moving shot, if it's a tracking shot, you know something's coming
Yeah,
around
something's
that
coming.
corner.
That's
Because
what-
that shot is a tracking shot where Jake walks into the room. It's like following him, and you're
Yeah.
like, something's coming.
Yeah.
Something's coming.
Oh man, the dopey spiders get.
Yeah.
yeah.
That movie, I think that message is like, it's funny because that's that's the point of the movie, is to show a guy struggling with that conflict. But I was thinking about it, I was like, but what's the message? Is that you're supposed to be faithful and be feeling like
I don't
is-
think there's necessarily a message. I think it's more
supposed
like
to be like up to your
a feeling.
Yeah, how you
I don't think
feel.
it's like I don't think it's I don't think it's like selling a
point.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's maybe why I like it, because it doesn't force. You have that theory where it's like movies nowadays, they like jam.
Well,
in
yeah, I think
message.
that's the worst part. On the
Yeah,
nose,
dude, in
on
this-
the nose is like huge right now.
In this movie, if it was on the nose, he'd be like, "You are a spider.
I
who
feel
is
trapped
trapping
in this
me in
relationship."
this web."
Well,
That's why.
I think that's kind of why I loved it, because I'm sitting there and I'm being like, wait, what was the message? And I go, I think that's for me to think about and like,
Yeah.
to put my own feelings into it, whether or not I side with his character or with the with the women in the movie and stuff.
You
So,
can you
Yeah.
can also go too far with it,
yeah,
where like like
too
in
obscure?
like in that Wes Anderson one, Darjeeling Limited.
yeah.
They
Darjeeling Unlimited, yeah.
at the end they literally shed their baggage. You
Oh,
know, they throw their
Uh-huh.
luggage away.
yeah.
So you're saying that's too force fed?
A little bit.
That's what he's
That's
saying.
well, no. In that they would be like, we are shedding our baggage.
No, I mean I sort of mean it in the like metaphors where you're like, you're like, we know exactly what this means.
Yeah,
kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Where you don't watch. My favorite show ever is Mad Men, because
Yeah.
every time I watch it, depending on my mood, I take something different from it.
Right. Well, you know what? It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good example of like imagery being force fed too. Is I just watched it, but The Departed with the rat.
Oh,
crawls
yeah.
across you're like, whoa.
Yeah, yeah.
It almost makes.
Well, they made a whole-
that legitimately makes me sick when I watch it. I'm like, Scorsese, fuck you,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
you, man.
Are you gonna show a rat when
Yeah.
there's a rat?
That's dead.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, oh. What did it almost makes you be like, I remember the first time I saw it, I remember being like, I want my money back. I think. I was like, don't treat me like a child, you fucking old Italian jerk. Don't do that.
Yeah. I think that there like should be a message, but it shouldn't be word for word. Like
Yeah.
it should be like there's still flexibility within the general. Like
Yeah.
it should mean something. Like otherwise you're just
Right.
throwing
out
paint on the
nothing.
wall or whatever.
Yeah,
But
well, that's what Enemy is, kind of.
No, that's not what I think.
Oh, really?
I think it definitely comes away with something, but it's not necessarily saying you should live your life like this or not like this.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I was
Yeah.
agreeing with Damien that there should be like a theme, I guess you would call it. Like there's an idea in it, but it doesn't mean you have to take that idea
Right.
home with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like you can decide if you're pro con that message or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily, you're not like wrong for
Yeah.
thinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just watched, that's kind of, there's, I mean, The Farewell kind of has that, the general message.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, here's an idea. We're not telling you it's good or bad, you know?
Yeah, The Farewell is a movie about, how would you? It's like a Chinese American
Yeah.
finds out that her grandmother in China is dying of cancer, and
Yeah.
they're not going to tell her that she
Right.
has cancer. They're just going to let her die and not know anything's wrong.
Oh, is this the Aqua?
Yeah.
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 And she's conflicted about whether or not she should tell her.
Yeah.
And it's sort of going back and forth with the cultural
Yeah.
differences.
And that's just like an idea. It's like, here's an idea
Yeah.
for the viewer. That's actually no spoilers. That's literally the plot
Yeah,
of the movie.
I
It's
think
like, here's an idea, and you should grapple with it as you watch it unfold. That's kind
Right.
of, you know.
I like that. So there's no like this is how you treat it.
No, not
Oh,
really.
love
Well,
it.
you kind of see the you see her struggle with it.
Yeah.
And then you, as a viewer, also, there's moments where you're like, ugh. And then there's moments where you're like, oh, I guess, you know.
Yeah, it's not like you don't go into it as an American being like, this is fucking bullshit, like I can't do it.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like gassing you up that way.
No.
But it's it gives you like a nice
you want-
pros and cons list.
Can we spoil it?
I mean, I guess if we want.
We just have to put it in the description if we spoil anything.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Enemy, I'll put in the description like, hey, we discuss it at length.
Do they tell her?
By the end of the movie, no.
Okay. And she dies. Grandma dies.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's like it's like because they do the whole movie and you go, okay, she's probably gonna die, and then there's like right after it goes black, it's like, and 6 years later she's still kicking. And you're like what?
Yeah.
Thank God we didn't tell her.
That was like I don't
hey,
know.
Grandma, you're gonna die. One more year, Grandma, you're gonna die.
That's that Nate Bargatze joke,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
yeah.
like the dog.
Oh,
they put
yeah.
the dog down, or the dog is sick and the dog is going to die, and he kept telling his daughter, and then the dog lived
Like 6
for
months.
another
Yeah.
6 months. Your dog's going to die. Your mom's going to die. I'm already dead.
Yeah, it was like a sweet ending to like you walk out going, oh, that's nice, but I don't know if it really added anything to
Right.
the film.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
that was my reaction though. When that scene, that post black screen happened.
Yeah.
I think me and the person I saw it with both were like, "Oh, that's great,"
Yeah, that's nice.
you know.
Yeah.
And it kind of still lets you grapple with that idea because you're like, what if they live? You know, then let life take on its own, let life take its form in the way that diagnosis
Yeah.
can now spoil. No, don't spoil life.
Don't spoil
Don't do a
life.
life.
Yo,
spoiler.
I could do with some spoilers, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although here's an interesting question. I love scary narration videos on YouTube, and they did a deep dive of scary websites. And I just watched this. And there's a website where you go on it, and you type in your birthday and your name, when you were born, whatever, and that's it. And you send it in, and it gives you the day you're going to die. And I know it's a joke website, but I could not do it at all.
No, I can't do it.
Could you do it? You
No.
couldn't. Could you do it?
I think I did it once as a
Yeah, I
kid,
could do
and I
it.
forgot.
You could do
I
it.
think I did that. Yeah.
You've done that.
Yeah, that website.
It's like the death day,
Yeah.
like your death day.
Uh-huh.
And I honestly, I went to the website, and it's like black, and it's like it's a website from like 2006, so it's like red letters, and it's like
Yeah.
deathday.com. And I looked at it, and I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I clicked out of it. I was
You
like, I
wouldn't
don't-
if it was like real. Someone was like, I can tell you exactly when you're gonna die. You're
Yeah.
like, no.
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah, it it would definitely affect the way you live, for sure.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Well, it
It would just haunt me in a way that, like, I feel like. Well, it's funny because death haunts me all the time, constantly. Everybody. I feel like everybody thinks about it a little bit.
well, I wasn't, and then
Sure, of course.
I remember because I used to listen to the rest of the story.
Yeah, what's that?
Do you guys know the rest of the story?
No.
It's like an NPR guy, and he did like yeah. I forget his name now. He's like famous. He was famous for being like a news journalist kind of guy. But his whole story would be he would start in on a story and you'd have no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And then he'd end up mentioning some famous story or and it's kind of like the stuff around that you didn't know.
Oh,
It's
sure.
like this is the rest of the story.
That's like that's kind of what the O.J. Simpson documentary did. Because the O.J. Simpson documentary was like, here's the story of the O.J. trial, and then here's what was happening in America all at the same time.
Yeah, no, but it's not like that though. It's more like if OJ was a painter as a child, and there's a whole story about that.
Oh, right.
You know, so
specific story.
Yeah, so this one was that I think like Mark Twain was born under Halley's Comet, and like his brother dreamed of him dying. And then he died the exact same way his brother dreamed or something like that.
Whoa.
And then he died under Halley's Comet also. You know?
Is all that real? I guess.
It's the
Well,
story.
if it's just the dates. Well, if they have the
And
dates,
the date is accurate. That
With
he
the
was
astronomy
born
of
and
it?
died under Halley's Comet. Yeah.
Right.
It's either Mark Twain or someone like that.
Damn.
And
Spooky.
and so, like, as a kid listening to that, it's like, oh, because his brother or someone dreamt of it.
Yeah.
That he would die on the comet. And I'm like, oh, you can will it. You know?
Right,
You can will
right.
it into existence. So I never wanted to look up
You
my
never
death
wanted-
date.
Yeah.
Because
'Cause you
maybe
it's fake.
maybe it's like I get to that age and I'm like, well, it
Yeah.
would be a good day.
Right.
Yeah. I like the idea of it because it's like it's kind of like how I need like a deadline to get anything done.
That's
where I'm
funny.
like
Literal deadline.
yeah,
Literal
literal deadline. Where I'm like, it's like with a project where I'm like, okay, I have my whole life to do something. I'm like, well, I could do it tomorrow. But if like you're gonna die when you are 35, I'm like, I should probably do whatever I'm gonna do
now.
Yeah.
That's a great premise for a good B movie.
Oh yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like there are those movies
Oh,
where
really?
someone
They're
finds
like-
out they're going to die,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
they like.
yeah.
There's a
No, but I like the
The high
name.
concept.
I like the name
Yeah.
Deadline.
Oh,
and then it's
Deadline.
like,
That's a 90s
like-
movie.
Yeah, I know. I just love that specific like
Michael
as soon as-
Douglas.
As soon as he said
Gets
Deadline,
his report done.
yeah. As soon as he said Deadline, then you were like literal Deadline. I was like movie. It's like the Limitless. It all starts happening in my brain.
Oh, man.
Start putting it together.
What if you had
Yeah.
only 30 days to complete a project? Would
But
you
the project-
play video games?
You know what it is though? But the project in this '90s movies would be like a lawyer. It'd be like he'd be like a high. It would affect the world. Something that he has to get done. And he's like, it's his deadline, and that's his deadline.
Yeah.
And then you find out that they're all connected. That they're gonna kill him because he can't get it done in time or something. And you're like, oh,
Seth Rogen.
Oh, whoa.
interesting choice.
Yeah.
I think I have to go soon. I'm just checking the clock.
Oh, you guys okay with that?
I think
out
we're.
there?
I think we're also over. Now I think we've been cranking it. I did not check when we started. I have to remember to do that because I don't have my phone. Or one of you guys should like check your time
keep a
when
timer
we
or something.
start. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Yeah.
Sign off.
I think sign off.
Final question. Is Ellen DeGeneres in Grace Under Fire? To be honest, I still don't know.
Yeah. Also, other question: would you find out when you were going to die if you could?
Yeah.
Write us in crushboyspod@gmail.com. We are on all platforms now, so
Yay.
this will
Let
be-
us know if any of you are going to die in the next 30 days, because that'd be fun to
interesting.
track.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Check in on you.
Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram,
At Dwayne Cullen.
Damian Holmes. 2 S's.
at Casey McGowan, 2 N's, and we are at Crush Boys on Instagram.
At
correct?
Crush Boys Pod, right?
On Instagram.
On Instagram.
Crush Boys Pod on Instagram.
We'll post something there eventually.
I think this week we gotta start putting content out there.
Yeah.
And then YouTube, our YouTube channel is Crush Boys on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get them. And we will see you guys next Monday. Thanks for crushing.
Later.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye.